Hello, vinyl community. My name is Void Plastic. Maybe if I last, I'll do a video saying where that name came from. This is my YouTube vinyl community debut. And for my first video, I am doing Rob Walker's Vinyl Tag 2023. Here we go. 20 questions, 20 answers, more than 20 records. Question number 1 is favorite new release of 2022. I didn't buy a lot from 2022. I only thought of a couple, but Daniel Rawson, you belong there. Daniel Rawson from Grizzly Bear. During COVID quarantine, taught himself how to play a few horns and woodwinds, besides his guitar and piano singer-songwriter that he does in Grizzly Bear. And he recorded the whole thing himself, minus some drums and some strings. It's a good record. It's a good record. If you like Grizzly Bear, especially Daniel Rawson's songs, if you like Department of Eagles, you'll like this. You know you're gonna like this record if you like that stuff already. Mrs. Plastic and I were fortunate to see him play solo acoustic touring for this record. Short show, but great show. Number 2, last band or solo artist I saw live. I'm going to answer this twice. Last band saw live. The New Pornographers, a Canadian indie rock supergroup. Not really. I mean, they weren't very big before they all joined forces here, but this is fantastic. Mass Romantic, this is their first record. This is a reissue. When I saw them, they played this record in its entirety, and then some extra, red vinyl. You know what they say about colored vinyl? It's not black. This reissue, part of the Matador Revisionist History series, also comes, hey, nifty little 7-inch that originally was separate. Dan Behar was not feeling well, and they played his songs anyway. He wasn't there, but they played his songs anyway. Good show. And then last solo act saw was Mr. Bill Callahan with Mrs. Plastic. He's one of our favorites. We went and saw him at Pappy and Harriet's, and he had the always great Matt Kinsey on guitar. He had a sax player, and he had Jim White from Dirty Three on drums, giving a little different edge to some of his, his kind of folky Americana singer-songwriter, imagistic tunes. Good stuff. Question number 3. Their first album was the best. This group had a lot of good songs, but they only had one great album. From the 80s, ABC. Their first record, The Lexicon of Love. Shoot that poison arrow. You got the look of love. Forever Together, Tears Are Not Enough. Yeah, great. I think we can credit Trevor Horn maybe with a lot of this. Or it's just that whole classic thing of first record's the best. You know, you have a lifetime to make your first record and 6 months to make your second. In fact, Martin Fry, the only one left from ABC, he did a Lexicon of Love 2 recently. I don't know. I haven't heard it. Question number 4, hat trick. Show the vinyl, the CD, and the cassette. Well, I have it somewhere, but I can't find the CD. Here's the cassette. Here's the record. Talking Heads, Remain in Light. So good. Monster album. Adrian Belew on guitar. Brian Eno, production. Just great curve. Cross-eyed and Painless. Born Under Punches. Super good stuff. Number 5, album that begins and ends with the same letter. I'll go you one further. Album that begins and ends with the same letter by a band that begins and ends with the same letter. Sparks. Number 1 in Heaven. So good. So good. This is kind of phase 2 of Sparks when they no longer were doing their glam, proto, power pop, 5-piece band. This is just the two brothers with Giorgio Moroder making this banging stuff for the clubs, but it's still recognizably Sparks. Mrs. Plastic and I got to see them at the Disney Hall this year. That was super, super good. Born in the same year as you, number 6. Couple different ways to interpret this. Was the album born in the same year as me, or was the musician born in the same year as me? Well, Mr. Plastic, Void here, turned 50 last year, and I'm still 50. So a 50-year-old record that is phenomenal. Will the Circle Be Unbroken by the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and guests, including Mother Maybelle Carter, Earl Scruggs, Doc Watson, Roy Acuff, Merle Travis. Holy cow, what a great record. If you are an Americana connoisseur, this is essential. Essential, no argument. But if I'm going with a musician who is the same age as I am, well then, this is Sunny Day Real Estate. And their drummer, William Goldsmith, is also 50 years old. This is Sunny Day's first record, Diary. Again, if you're, let's get micro genres. Midwest 90s emo. Although they're not from the Midwest, but the style is. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great record. He later was in the Foo Fighters for a couple years. Apparently that was not a pleasant experience for him. And then back in Sunny Day Real Estate, Reunion, and now he's got another band called Assertion, and they sound pretty good. Anyway, I'll have to remember to wish William Goldsmith a happy birthday next July. All right, most listened to album in 2022. According to that streaming service that wraps things up at the end of the year, it was Bradford. Maybe. I have no reason to doubt them. I listened to this record a lot. Bradford was a early 90s indie guitar band along the line of the Smiths, Aztec Camera, those kinds of groups. C86 type stuff. Phenomenal, great record. They did one record, they did an EP, they did a couple of singles, and then they fizzled out because of Britpop. They weren't quite Britpop enough, or Manchester in between the two. This is a reissue that includes almost everything they originally released. Great, super good record. A little bit of a Morrissey association. He covered one of their songs. So, my fellow Mazur fans. But artist-wise, I don't think it was Bradford, only because they got the one record. They have a second record, a reunion record. I don't have it yet, but pretty good. Instead, it was Myriam Gendron, a Quebecois singer, songwriter, interpreter, guitarist, just amazing, especially her second record, Ma Delia, Songs of Love, Lost and Found. It's folk music, but it's haunting, it's spectral, it's poignant and moving. It's not your typical coffee shop folk. It's so good. Nothing wrong with coffee shop folk, though. Okay, question number 9. Australian artist, a band. Stroin artist. Or band. I thought about going with In Excess, or as I thought they were originally named, Inxes. They're not. Thought about going with The Church, then realized I don't have any Church records. Like many, I got rid of almost all my records in the 90s, and only in the past couple of years have I started trying to reconstruct the collection I had and sold on eBay. So still no Church. But I do got some Midnight Oil, the Oils. This is their record, 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1. That is the full title, folks. It was the Cold War, and we were worried about nuclear Armageddon. Good thing that worry's all gone, huh? No more fears. Okay. Number 10, surprising purchase of 2022. Well, it surprised me. Pearl Jam 10. I don't know, hadn't thought about these guys in a long, long time. This is a reissue, re-release with a second disc. You can tell because it's gold and beige instead of the red and purple maroon. I saw them a couple times on that tour, or the original. This one has the original mix and then a 10 redux, 10 redo, mixed by Brendan O'Brien, according to the diehards who know much more than I do. Some songs sound better in the original, and some sound better in the redo. What you gonna do? And I have a second copy of the redo. They jammed 2 into the gatefold. So I don't know. I gotta find a way to get that to somebody who would appreciate it. Number 11, artist or band you own the complete discography of. So I thought about going like with The Assembly, who released one 12-inch, or The Cradle, who released one 12-inch, or maybe Fine Young Cannibals, who released 3 records, or two records. Instead, I went with a 3-record band. Because again, reconstructing, I got some gaps. One gap in Boingo, one gap in Talking Heads. But the amazing slowcore pioneers, Galaxy 500 from Boston and New York. This is their first record today. Their second record and their best, On Fire. And then their swan song, This Is Our Music. These are the reissues on 2020. I used to have the Rough Trade. Well, I don't have them anymore, and they're really expensive online. And those sound great. And Damon Krukowski and Naomi Yang of the band own the masters now, along with Dean Wareham. So they're doing all right, I think. Money actually goes to them. What a concept. Number 12. A great run of 3 albums. Simple Minds, Scotland, Sons and Fascination, Sister Feelings Call. Originally a double record, so we're counting that as the first of the 3-album run. And that one is rhythmically complex. It's interesting, imagistic lyrics, sort of sometimes the guitars and keyboards are sort of cross purposes, but matching up. So good. Second album in their 3-album run, New Gold Dream, 81, 82, 83, 84. Beautiful, starting to get atmospheric and ethereal. I think 4AD fans might like some of that stuff. I think that's a freaking fantastic record. And then followed by the little bit more arena rock ready, Sparkle in the Rain, which still has some just beautiful songs. Book of Brilliant Things, Speed Your Love to Me, Waterfront, I think are really great. Street Hassle, but they're a little bit more for the crowd, for the radio. Nothing wrong with that, mate. All right, what's the next one? Number 13, 80s soundtrack. I've got 2. I've got more than that, but you know, these are the ones I found right away. Bachelor Party, starring Tom Hanks, before he had joined the Illuminati, I believe, and then was imprisoned in Australia during the fake COVID scare. Followed by Weird Science. Why do I have these? Because I'm a big Boingo fan. This has 2 exclusive Boingo tracks, although one of them is really another one of their songs with different lyrics. And then this one has Weird Science, of course, on it. And I dig this little record store / radio sticker, right? This LP contains now, if you look closely, it says extended underneath their version, and then extended was blacked out because it does not have the extended version of Weird Science. And they misspelled Oingo Boingo. Oingo Boingo. Oh, that was the lot. Boingo. All right. Next one, we lost them in 2022. There were 2 that really got to me. First was Anton Fier, drummer extraordinaire. This is one of, I think, 2 records he did on under his own name. Most of his stuff he did under the name of Golden Palominos. He's a drummer and songwriter, but Golden Palominos was his main project, kind of a involving ensemble of musicians. That record there has Michael Stipe singing vocals on 3 songs. Michael Stipe from REM, Sid Straw, Peter Holsapple from the DBs. But then he also did this avant jazz funk stuff with Bernie Worrell and Arto Lindsay and John Zorn. And then, this one is super dubbed out, rhythmically, so complex. Backward drums going with forward drums, and a Japanese singer named Few, who's pretty great. Anyway, he died of assisted suicide this year, so don't know what was going on with Anton, but rest in peace. And then the other one that really got me, and this got me so much that Mrs. Plastic bought me a plant in honor of Mimi Parker from Low, the drummer and singer and wife of Alan Sparhawk, the singer-guitarist of Low. I was fortunate enough to see Low several times. And that's a tough one too. She died of ovarian cancer, too young, in her 50s, I believe, early 50s. Number 15, disappointing purchase in 2022. I don't usually get disappointed by what I buy. However, this one was a big disappointment. Bought a bunch of records from a seller online that I have done plenty before, and this is kind of how they showed up. I think I must have ticked off the mailman or something. I mean, 'cause yeah, these bent up and like just, and they were well packed, so it was well abused. I mean, just, I mean, wow, the damage that was done to these guys. That's my most disappointing purchase. Non-vinyl purchase. I got 2 things for you. One's a purchase, one's not. I was fortunate to go see Gang of Four 77-83 tour with 79-83 tour with John King, original vocalist, Hugo Burnham, original drummer, Sarah Lee, the kind of phase 2 bassist, and then David Pajo, standing in for Andy Gill, dearly departed. I bought a book. They were selling a history of Gang of Four, which is all about the politics and art that influenced them. And then at that same show, John King, while introing one of the songs called He'd Send in the Army, bangs, he has a little microwave in front of him, and he bangs on it with a drumstick, or hammer, actually. Bangs on it with a hammer. Well, I was right up front next to that, so I got the door of the microwave that he smashed. You can see there. And then on the back, I taped the set list that Sarah Lee pointed to a roadie and pointed to me after I was kind of like, yeah. So that was fun. That's a fun one. I found a GRAIL. Yeah. So this Minutemen 3-Way Tie for Last. Not a terribly rare record, but if you know the story about it, this one includes the ballot. So the Minutemen were planning to record a 3 LP set, half live, half studio, and it was going to be after this record. And so in this record, they included this ballot, and people would vote for what live songs would go on that record. And tragically, D. Boone, singer, guitarist, corndog of Minutemen, died in an automobile accident. So they never did the triple album. They did do a double album ballot result instead. But I've always wanted to find one of these with the actual ballot, right? Before, it was there, but it didn't get sent in. And then after D. Boone's death, of course, no more ballots in there. So, so there we go. I got a GRAIL. I got the ballot. Unfilled out. And number 18, space-themed album, sleeve, or song. Dun, 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 dun. I am from the Star Wars generation. But this is a non-copyright infringing cover. Star Wars, Another Galactic Funk by Meko. With Suzanne Ciani on synthesizer, the Bushla. I probably mispronounced that. And a lot of other studio cats that you might recommend, including musicians from the Cormor Galaxy. So that's pretty cool. Also, just a bonus. Disco from Another Galaxy. Oh, yeah. Gold record, baby. Yeah, gold colored. That's all. Also, limited edition. Oh, yeah. This is only 16,487. So, get in line, suckers. Limited, and I got one. Number 19, show some VCLT or a present. Well, I've not gotten a ticket for the VCLT, and this is my first video, so did get a present though this year. So I'm told I'm very hard to shop for, so I give very specific lists based on where people are going. And I knew younger daughter number 2, Plastic, was going to a store that, you know, kind of a typical new bookstore that carries some records, initials. And so I requested this one, and they didn't have it, but she ordered it. So, Wilco, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. You know, it's a great record. If you're only going to have a couple Wilco albums, and I really only want a couple, that's one of them. Number 20, I'm wrapping this sucker up. Oh my goodness. Number 20, showing an album released in 1973. This is 50 years old. Fresh. By Sly and the Family Stone. Although there's not a lot of Family Stone on there. It's mostly just Sly. But it's great. It's sad. It's a hard record to listen to at times. You know, he sounds just tired and breaking. Not broken, but he sounds like he's breaking. And but boy, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Thank you for sharing that with us, Sly. Sorry. Thanks for sharing your pain, though. Hopefully it helps other people. Folks, I wrapped it up. That's it. Rob Walker's Vinyl Tag 2023. My name is Void Plastic. This was my debut. I hope to do some more soon. I'm a busy guy, but, you know, I want to be part of the vinyl community. So, Happy New Year, folks. There's only one rule, kiddos. Be kind.